Hello, in our previous meetings, we have seen how easy it is to open a ticket using our company email, as long as it is properly customized within the application. Today, we will see a new way of opening tickets. We will open a change ticket, using the application itself, entering using our customer user code. Next, we will see all the phases of preparation of the offer and development of change until its conclusion. Enjoy! Entering the application as Final Customer, you find yourself in front of the page with the 5 possible choices. Help, Knowledge Basics, What's New, My Tickets, New Ticket. To open a new ticket, using the application's graphical interface, you will need to choose this last button named New Ticket. You will then have to choose the type of support required, in our case Change Management, to confirm that you want to open a new ticket and select the New Ticket button. Once this is done, the ticket detail window will open. We will therefore have to enter the type of service, generally identifies the application for which you want to open a ticket, the priority, the subject of the request, the explanation of the request in the body of the message. If necessary, you can also insert one or more attachments to clarify the request. A click on the Save button will register the ticket within the platform.
Hello. As you have seen, Bernard has just created a new change ticket, so it will be my responsibility to take charge of it and carry it forward until its conclusion. In this first part we will see how to accept and start processing, how to prepare the offer, how to enter the economic evaluation in terms of days needed to complete the required activities. We will then pass the ticket to the technical group, so that they can add any details and insert also the technical effort. When the ticket will return to my hands, I will carry out the last checks and I will send it to the attention of the service manager for the activities of his competence. Enjoy!
By entering the system with an analyst user. And clicking on the My Tickets button, you will see the list of all the tickets that have been opened and still to be assigned to an analyst, and those that the analyst who has logged into the system has already chosen to manage himself. This list is sorted by date of receipt, putting in the first instance all the tickets to which the customer has replied, and then, from a status, wait, are again in active status, and, subsequently, the rest of the active tickets always sorted in descending order by date received. In this case, you can also see a pop-up reminding you that you have some open tasks. Tasks are small micro-activities, which must be carried out within a ticket, by a center of expertise other than that of the analyst who manages the ticket. At this point, after checking the content of the ticket and any attachments present, if the analyst considers the ticket to be within his competence, he can proceed with its taking charge. This operation is carried out by selecting the ticket, and choosing the button in Change Status with a click. A pop-up appears where you can choose all the available statuses. Since it is a change, the status will be set to Change in Analysis. Upon this choice, all the recipients of the email who must be informed of the change of status will be automatically inserted, including subject, body, and any attachments to be included. The analyst can change this information if necessary. With a click on the button in return, the ticket is updated and the email sent. Subsequently, entering the ticket, it will be necessary to start filling out the document relating to the technical offer. This is under the Documents folder. Clicking on the Open Document icon, by selecting the button Edit File, the template of the offer document that the analyst must fill in is downloaded locally. This template is fully customizable at the level of customer and project, but, generally, it must contain the basic chapters of a technical offer, in particular the user's request, in order to demonstrate that he really understands the need. A second chapter with the description of the activities proposed to bring it to completion. A third chapter that describes the impacts of this change at the current service. Once the offer has been drafted, it must be uploaded again into the ticket to make it available to anyone who has the appropriate authorizations. This last operation is carried out by first selecting the button in Choose File to download the document from the local download folder, and then selecting the button Upload Document to upload it to the server. A click on the Save button will always record all the changes made. After finishing the drafting of the offer, the analyst must move to the Pricing folder, where he can enter the evaluation of his activities necessary to implement the requested change. The grid of activities and professional figures can be modified at the level of customer and project. The values entered by the analyst must be expressed in days or fractions of a day. After entering the evaluation of the effort required, the analyst returns to the list of tickets under his responsibility and can send it to the attention of the technical team, so that they can enter the evaluations regarding their activities. The operation is always carried out by selecting the Change Status button and putting the ticket for analysis at the developer. Once this is done, the analyst remains waiting for the return of the ticket, appropriately enhanced in its technical part. As we have seen, the ticket is now in charge of the technical team. The analyst has entered the name of the technician in charge, but the team leader can always change this assignment. Therefore, by entering with a developer account and viewing the list of tickets, it is also possible to see the change ticket requested by the user in the relevant queue. The developer goes into the details of the ticket to see what the analyst has entered, and make some changes if necessary. Once this is done, enter the Pricing folder and enter the technical effort. Once saved, the ticket must be sent again to the attention of the reference analyst using the state change technique. Entering again as an analyst, you can see that the previously prepared change is again present in the ticket list. What must now be done is a final check on what the development team has inserted and according to the time they have estimated, evaluate the time necessary to carry out the internal testing phase, any rework and the release in the production environment. After these operations, it is sent to the service manager.
Hello, my name is Linda Violet. I am a service manager for the customer demo company. I received from my colleague the change ticket requested by Bernard. Now I will analyze all the information contained in the ticket, from the drafting of the offer to the definition of the effort necessary for development. If everything is correct, I will prepare a technical and economic offer to be sent to the customer so that he can evaluate our proposal and officially commission us the activities. Enjoy!
By entering the system with the Service Manager user, it will be possible to see the list of all the tickets opened by the customer. Depending on the user settings, all tickets, or only those that are still active, may be visible. The Service Manager is the interface between the customer and the support team, so it will be his task to analyze what is proposed and evaluated by the team, make any changes and send the offer to the customer. Entering the ticket, the checks will concern the technical offer, the determination of the price, and the economic offer. It will be at the discretion of the Service Manager to make any discounts or price changes to the evaluation. The Service Manager is the only professional figure who has complete visibility on effort, costs, and prices. We have already seen that the consultant issues his evaluation in days of activity, while we will see later that the customer will see both the days evaluated and their final price. The costs of the service, on the other hand, will always and only be visible to the Service Manager. The last check, as already mentioned, is related to the determination of the price. the service manager will enter the economic document, automatically prepared according to the latest price changes made, to check that everything is exactly as desired. Only at this point can the document be saved and prepared for sending to the customer. The sending to the customer is nothing more than a new change of status, from a change sent to the service manager, to a change sent to the customer. The system automatically assumes that the technical and economic offer documents are also sent to the customer. They will then be automatically selected in the attachment grid. Other documents can be entered manually at the discretion of the service manager.
Hello, I have just received from Linda all the documentation related to the change requested by Bernard. I will analyze carefully the proposal, and I will show you the steps necessary for its acceptance. Enjoy.
By entering the system with a customer's ICT account, all the tickets that are still active will be visible regardless of who the applicant was. This customer account identifies the service responsible from the customer side. Consequently, he must have complete visibility on everything that is requested from the service provider by his users. To evaluate what is offered, the ICT manager enters in the ticket, goes to the Documents folder, and opens the economic offer. This operation can also be done outside the system because, as you will remember, he has received the email from the service manager with all the attached documents. Once the feasibility of what is proposed has been assessed, both from a technical and an economic point of view, the ICT manager can proceed with the approval of the change.
Hello. As you have seen, my proposal for a solution to the requested change has been approved. In this second phase, I will show you all the steps necessary to carry out the development, proceed with the internal test, and request the customer to test it. Once the test is passed, I will proceed with the transport of the changes to the production environment and from the closure of the ticket. Enjoy!
Once the analyst has received the email that the change has been accepted, he must continue with the next steps. The first of these is development planning. The change must therefore move from a status of accepted to a new status called in development. In doing this, the system also asks to enter a date of expected release for testing. Often, SLAs and KPIs are linked to this date. Consequently, it is very important that it is carefully defined, evaluating the commitments of all the resources who will participate in the change developments. during the development phase doubts arise about how to proceed and the need arises to ask the user for further clarification, the ticket must be put in a wait status to stop the timer that counts the time spent. In this way, if there were SLA related to the implementation time, it would not be distorted by the time in which the service provider team is stopped waiting for the requested clarifications. During the change of status, the analyst can list the necessary clarifications directly in the body of the email. These will be stored in the ticket and sent directly to the requester's email. The requester, who has received the email with the clarifications list from the analyst, connects to the system and, again using the status change technique, will change the status from wait to user response. This operation reactivates the timer, and allows the requester to enter all the necessary answers to the analyst in the body of the email which will be sent. As soon as the analyst receives the response from the requester, he must put the status of the ticket back in development and, subsequently, continue with the implementation and internal testing phase. At the end of the internal developments and tests, the change can be sent to the requester for testing. Before doing this, the analyst must fill in the document defined as TCP, Test Cases Plan, which must be sent to the requester when the status is set from development to test. This document must contain the list of all the tests carried out by the development team, including the description of the test carried out and the result obtained. The requester, in his testing phase, will be able to repeat the tests or carry out others, in order to be sure of the correctness of the requested change. The transfer in User Acceptance Test status will done using the change status technique. The TCP file will be automatically flagged to insert it as attachment in the mail. The requester, when he receives the email that the developments are available in the test environment, carries out all the necessary checks. In case of any malfunction is found that deviates from the initial RFP, he can invoke a rework procedure. This is done by changing the status of the ticket and clearly describing the error encountered in the body of the email. The analyst, who received the ticket in rework, corrects what the requester reported. Once done, it will enter in the application again and change the status of the ticket to making it available for testing again. In the body of the email, you can write any clarifications necessary for the requester to understand the situation. The requester of the change carries out the entire testing phase again, making sure that the corrections made have definitively solved the problem and that no other malfunctions have been created. Upon successful completion of this activity, the status of the ticket will change again, activating the transport request in production. If necessary, you can enter some additional requests for the transport phase in the body of the email, such as the time and day on which you want to carry out this activity. Once the request for transport to production has been received, the analyst activates all possible pre- and post-deployment procedures. Once this transport phase has been completed and the outcome of the same has been checked, the analyst will enter in the application again and change the status for the last time to set the ticket as closed and in a production environment. This status will remain silent for a predetermined period in relation to the client and the project, generally 15 days, during which the customer can still reopen it for any rework, then it will be automatically closed and confirmed by the system. At this point the change will be considered definitively finished.